Hello, I'm sorry, we are having technical difficulties. The original stream I scheduled is not working, so now we're on a new stream. Give me one moment. I want to make sure everything is set up properly. I think it is, but let me just triple check. Okay. All right. Hopefully people will find me here. There's always something that's got to go wrong, right? Let's jump right in. So if you are here, it's because you need help landing clients for your SMMA, your social media marketing agency. Whether you're trying to land your first client or your next client, if you feel stuck, you will learn something new. So I'm going to keep this kind of casual. I have my notes right up here, so if you see me looking to the side every now and then, that's why. But let's jump right in. So if you haven't noticed already, then you probably will. This is a very, very competitive industry, and for a very clear reason. There's a huge demand for social media. It's not going anywhere anytime soon, probably ever. And almost every business, I would argue, in some capacity, needs social media. It might look different from business to business, but almost all of them need it. So there's a huge demand there. And a few years back, I don't know how many years exactly, but SMMAs blew up. And people like Ty Lopez made them really popular as a very lucrative business, which they can be. But then everybody started to create one. The barrier to entry is really low. Anyone can go online and say that they're a social media expert. And one of the reasons it's so easy to get away with that is because social media, to see success with it, it typically takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. So unfortunately, there are businesses out there who have been burned by social media experts who come along saying that they can deliver results, and the client waits and waits and waits, and it never happens. So not only is it a very competitive industry, but you're going to find the more you talk to leads and clients, a lot of them have been burned. So we need to be, I don't say any of this to discourage you. I say it because you need to be very diligent in your approach. If you throw up a website and start pitching yourself as a social media agency and you think the clients are going to come running, they're not. It takes a lot more thought than that, and a lot more strategy. So let's get into that. I'm going to give you 4 tips. All of these are based on experience, the last several years building up my own agency and scaling it to 5 figures a month. And for each tip, I'm going to give you the common mistake that agency owners make and what you should be doing instead. And normally I focus on what you should do and not what you should avoid, but I want you to know what those common pitfalls are, because they are so common. And if you fall into these traps, you're going to slow your progress significantly. All right, let's get going. First tip, write down the services that you're going to offer and stick to them. Here's where a lot of agency owners go wrong. They pitch themselves as a full service agency. And what that means, essentially, is that you offer everything. But the problem with that is that social media means a million different things. And on top of that, it means different things to different people. So for some people, when you say social media, this is how far it can go. As an example, social media, okay, we need someone to post to our Facebook. Well, they're going to be posting photos of our product, so we need them to take photos. Well, then we'll need an editor for those photos. So we need you to take the pictures, edit them, and then post them on social. But what about graphics? We need graphics. We need video. So for a lot of potential clients, a lot of businesses, when you say you can do their social media, their understanding is that you're going to take this holistic approach and handle everything from start to finish. And some agencies do that, but these are very big established agencies with a full staff. If you are new to your business, and especially if your business is still just you, just one person, which is okay, do not go around telling leads telling potential clients that you're a full service agency. I did it. Huge mistake. And it came back to bite me, and I severely limited my potential revenue. So instead, what you're going to do is pick a core group of offerings, of services, and you're going to write those down. I want you to put them somewhere you will see them every day and stick to them, because I guarantee you're going to run into someone at some point and they're going to say, oh, well, can you also just, add this on top? And it'll be a service you don't typically offer, probably because you don't know how to do it. And you're going to be tempted to be like, oh, sure, because you want to close the client. Don't do it. It is a slippery slope. And if you start making those exceptions for clients, your business is going to turn into a giant cluster, what. You're going to have people asking you to do all sorts of random things that you're not qualified to do or don't enjoy doing or can't deliver results. You're going to be spreading yourself way too thin, and you're going to be straying too much from this set group of services that you should really be focusing on perfecting. As an example, in the beginning, I made the huge mistake of trying to be a full service agency, which was hilarious because I was the only person in the business. And what I eventually did, my background is in writing. So I narrowed down my services to content, to writing. And very often, even though I know this doesn't really fall under the heading of social media, that's meant blogging. But I've also helped write social media posts. I've helped write landing pages, product descriptions, email marketing. And that's what I am now. I'm the content person. I always tell people if it can be written, I can do it. Things like paid Facebook ads, I stopped offering them. I used to, and I used to be really good at them, but it's gotten very hard, very competitive, very expensive, and I stopped being able to deliver results. They stress me out. I don't enjoy it, so I don't offer it anymore. And when people say, well, can you just handle it anyway? No, I can't. You got to hire someone else for that. Okay? So I really encourage you, don't worry, don't fall into that fear, that trap of the less I offer, the less money I'm going to make. It is the opposite. Because when you offer fewer services, you put yourself in a place where you can become an authority of those services and an expert. And people are going to come to you because you're going to be so much better at these few things than all your competitors are. So some examples of how you might approach this, you might do social media for Instagram. Instagram might be your specialty. Or maybe you focus on paid ads. Really lucrative. I think because it's harder to do and it takes more training, more studying. So if you're good at it, you can charge a lot for it. And you can also make your clients a ton of money with ads. I know people who focus on YouTube, people who do social media for B2B. Some of this is going to bleed into my next tip, but the point is don't offer everything to everyone. It doesn't work. You are shooting yourself in the foot. Let's keep going with the second tip because, like I said, it kind of, this is a good segue. So the second tip, pick a niche or a niche, however you prefer to say it. I talk about this all the time on my channel. I have a few videos on it. I have a video on picking a niche if you're a writer. I have one on the best niches for SMMAs. The reason we do this, well, actually, first, let me back up. This is what most people do. Similar to offering every service they can think of because they think it's going to make them more money, they offer it to any industry. And I understand why, because I used to do this. People kind of use it as a selling point that they can do social media for anyone. So using myself as an example, I had a client who was in HVAC. I had a parenthood client, fashion, law. I had clients all over the place. And I used to kind of brag about it to potential clients. I'd be like, I can do anything for anyone. So A, no, you can't. And B, your clients don't care. If you are trying to pitch a client in the fashion industry, they don't care that you service a lawyer or that you're really good working with a parenting company. They just want to know if you can do fashion. So instead of trying to be everything to everyone, which you can't do, be everything to one niche. My niche that I started off with was fitness. And I did this because I was really involved in it and knew a lot about it, and I liked it. And that's another pro of picking a niche. You pick something you enjoy. You're building a business. Why build a business around something that makes you miserable? Pick something that you love. So I picked fitness, and immediately after picking a niche and then adjusting my approach, I saw progress. I immediately landed, I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 clients that week. My revenue shot up and it never stopped. And it was because I was positioning myself as an expert of one thing. And this is something Sunny Lenarduzzi talks about. She's incredible if you haven't looked her up yet. And she uses a perfect example, Starbucks. What is Starbucks known for? Coffee. What are they great at? Coffee. Unless you hate Starbucks coffee, in that case, I'm not talking to you in that case. But what are they known for? Coffee. Everyone knows them. They've got food. They've got like merchandise and stuff. No one cares about that. We know them for their coffee beverages. And Sunny went through the same thing. When she, really focused and zeroed in on her one thing, her business blew up. It skyrocketed. It was the same experience for me. It's the same experience for countless others. Someone just told me the other day, she winked at me when she said it too. She was like, oh no, I don't have a niche because I don't want to limit myself. And I was like, okay, that thinking is very backwards. By trying to be everything to everybody, you're limiting yourself. You can't be a master of everything. By definition, that's just not how it works. And the example I want to give, this is the example I always give because I think it illustrates perfectly. Let's look at a PCP, a primary care physician, versus a cardiologist, which is a specialist. You go to the PCP when you know something's wrong, but you don't know what it is. And you go to them because they know a little bit about everything. They're not experts, they're not specialists, they don't know a ton about any one thing. They know a lot about, or a little bit about everything. And so they check you out and they go, I think it's your heart, but you need to go see a cardiologist. What happens when you schedule the appointment with the cardiologist? It's way harder to get in and it's way more expensive. Why? Because they're more in demand. Why? Because they know more. They're the expert. This is not to knock PCPs, but if you want to make more money, you need to be the cardiologist, the specialist. So pick one thing or 2 things that you're really, really good at and you know a lot about, and base your SMMA on those things. And I want to point out here, the first 2 tips that we've covered focus on the same idea. Go narrow and deep, don't go wide. And that scares a lot of people, but here's the thing, nothing is set in stone. If you pick a niche and you don't like it or it doesn't work out, you switch. If you pick your core set of offerings, your services, and it doesn't work out, you change them. Neither of these things are like absolute, like you can never go back. It's okay. There are very few mistakes you can make that you can't undo. And I wouldn't even call them a mistake. If you pick the wrong niche, you pick the wrong niche and you pivot. Like, it's not a big deal. But, it's really, I just want to really emphasize narrow and go deep. Go really far in one direction. If you fall into that trap of, oh no, if I focus on one thing, I'm going to be alienating all these people, you're going to be so severely limiting the businesses you can work with and the revenue that you can make. I promise you. So those were our first 2 tips. Pick a specific set of services that you're going to offer and pick a niche that you're going to focus on. Again, they both have to do with narrowing your focus. Don't spread yourself so thin that you have no focus. You will stunt the growth of your business big time. Okay. 3rd tip. Start every workday with outreach. Start every workday with client acquisition, sourcing leads, reaching out to leads, following up with leads, scheduling calls. Here's where a lot of people go wrong, myself included. If you already have clients, or even just one client, you might approach your workday with the attitude of, I just want to get my client work out of the way, get it off my mind, and then I'll focus on acquisition and acquiring new clients. The problem with that is that whatever you put on the back burner will never happen. If you want something to happen, it has to be a priority. And I know that's tricky because then you're thinking, well, what about maintaining my current clients? I'm not saying it's not important. You, of course, have to continue delivering an amazing service to hang on to the clients you currently have, if you have one yet. But those need to be your top two priorities: keeping current clients happy and reaching out to new clients, potential clients. And the reason I say to do outreach first is because you will very likely find that your current client work, if it's due by the end of the day, you know you have to get it done because your client's expecting it. You've committed to this deadline. So it will get done one way or another. But outreach, trying to get new clients, no one's breathing down your neck for that. There's no overt pressure because you don't owe anything to anybody like you owe an assignment to a client. So that's why we put it on the back burner and why we address it last, because that pressure isn't there. But if you're not doing it, it's not going to happen. If you don't focus on growth, you don't grow. You don't grow. It's that simple. So focus on growth first and then do your client work after, and it'll get done. It will get done. Don't worry about not finishing your client work. Once you commit to a deadline, that's it. You have to do it. So, client outreach, that might look different for everyone. Obviously, I have my own program, my own formula that I teach, but that might mean, waking up and sending 10 warm emails out, or reaching out to 20 people on LinkedIn, or sourcing 20 new leads. Whatever it is, write down those goals, those, actionable steps, deliverables, have them in front of you and tackle them first every morning. And once those are out of the way, go to client work, okay? What you focus on is what's going to prosper. So if you're not focusing on outreach and on growth, you're not going to grow. It's really, really simple. That's a big one. I know it sounds so kind of like a no-brainer, like, well, of course, but I'm telling you, when I talk to SMMA owners, I'll ask them point blank, what's your process for bringing on new clients, for reaching out to clients, and how much time do you think you spend on it, spend on it each day? And the majority of the time, their eyes glaze over because they don't take action. They don't do anything. If you don't take action, it's not going to happen on its own. Clients aren't just going to fall into your lap. They might later on. I get clients, randomly just through referrals and word of mouth. But still, if you want to grow, you have to actively go out there and put the work in. They're not going to just find you or stumble upon you. And I think that it ends up discouraging a lot of us because we think, why am I not growing faster? You have to go out and get clients. Don't wait for them to chase after you because they won't. Okay, fourth tip. This one's a biggie. So full disclosure, it might not apply to you right now, but it will later. And I want to plant the seed because it needs to be in your mind from the get-go. And again, this is coming from having done this all wrong. Once you notice that time is becoming the limiting factor, once time is what is limiting your growth, you need to outsource. You need to hire. Where a lot of people go wrong, they go in one of two directions. What I did, they wait way too long to hire. They wait until they are completely burned out, stressed, over it, frustrated, and they literally have no other direction to turn other than closing the business. Then they're like, okay, fine, I'll hire. Some people who are maybe a little too eager, hire right off the bat. Neither one is good. You don't want either extreme. So there's kind of a sweet spot. You want to hire your first team member a little before you're going to hit that breaking point. And the reason for that is because it takes time to hire and train, and the first person you hire might not be a good fit, and that's okay. There's a learning curve with hiring, just like there is with anything else. Out of all the people I've interviewed and hired, one was really good, and she's still with me. That was like the one keeper I've had. And there have been quite a few people. And it's because I'm still learning how to find people and interview and hire and train. So you want to give yourself that time, because it's not necessarily intuitive, and people you think are going to work out won't, and people you don't think are going to work out might surprise you. So, and on the other hand, on the flip side, excuse me, don't hire right off the bat. You can't hire and train someone to help handle your business if you don't yet know what that business is. So I've seen people build their SMMAs and immediately hire someone. What are you hiring them to do? Well, when I get a client, they're going to blah, blah, blah. No. You don't hire before you have the client. You get the client, define the workload. You need to have a grasp of what the workload is. And then later on, you get it off your plate and you outsource it to someone else. There are lots of websites you can use to hire wonderful people. You do not need to hire them as an employee, which is very expensive. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's a huge cost to you as the business owner. So you can hire them as like a freelancer, a contractor. That's what I do. One website is Outsourcely, outsourcely.com. And actually, I'll put that in the chat. Hold on. There's a chat here. If you guys have questions, leave them in there, and I will be getting to them towards the end. So Outsourcely, I've used that before. I will say this about any of these websites. They're hit or miss in the sense that there are some amazing people on them, and there are some terrible people on them. And the terrible ones, you don't always see them coming. So if you hire someone and they don't work out or they really disappoint you, be upset about it for like a minute and then move on. But anyhow, I don't want to get too ahead of myself. Like I said, I wanted to plant the seed. But what I want you to keep in mind is, if you are trying to be an agency owner, the goal then, if you want to fill that role, is to spend more time working on your business than in your business. Here's the difference. When you're working in your business, you are the one posting to social media. You are the one writing the blogs, writing the email content. You're doing the grunt work. That's working in your business. And to an extent, you're always going to be working in your business. When you're working on your business, we're talking more about growth, strategy, the overarching concepts, not the day-to-day grunt work. The grunt work is what you're going to outsource, because you're going to get to a point where you feel like you are drowning in social media and you can't grow anymore. What are your options? Like I said earlier, you either close up shop or stay where you are, if you're okay with where you are, or hire. But if you're trying to be a business owner, you're not going to be the one doing those day-to-day maintenance tasks. That's not what a business owner does. Now, if you want to be the owner-operator, then yeah, you're going to work in your business. But if you want to be an agency owner, entrepreneur, like if you want a little more freedom and you want your business to kind of run without you, then you have to work yourself out of your business. If it relies on you so much that you can't take a day off without everything going to everything crashing and burning, I forgot I can't swear on here. You have to think about what your ultimate goal is. Now, it's a little different if you want to be like a freelance social media manager. If you're a freelance social media manager, then you're doing the grunt work. You're going to be doing the posting. You're going to be communicating with clients yourself, attending meetings, blah, blah, blah. And if that's what brings you joy, more power to you. But if you're trying to be, like I said, an agency owner, you do want to try to think a few steps ahead, because later on, you're going to be working yourself out of your business. You as an agency owner are ultimately going to want your business to be able to run without you. That's where freedom comes from as a business owner. If you have to be chained to your computer every day, logging into Facebook, logging into Insta, if you enjoy it, fine. But if you want to be the owner of the company and have that freedom and that flexibility, you got to work yourself out of your business. Now, that doesn't mean you don't have a job, you're not making money. It means other people are doing the work for you. And that's what the ultimate goal is. If you say you want to have an SMMA and you want to be an agency owner, an entrepreneur, that's what it is. You can't be posting on Facebook every day. This one, I know it's probably a few steps ahead for you, but I'm telling you to, pardon me, keep it in mind now, because I didn't. And I got burned because I got in way too deep, waited way too long. And this was the point where I did make mistakes I couldn't undo. I had clients who were so used to me working with me directly. I would answer their calls, answer their texts. Don't text with clients, by the way. I was doing all of it myself. I was very hands-on. I couldn't just replace me because they wouldn't have been okay with it. They weren't hiring my agency. They were hiring me. I had clients who didn't even know I had an agency. I was just the person who did their stuff for them. And that was on me. That was a big mistake that I made. I had started building a business I couldn't work myself out of. So I still hired. I still got some of the work off my plate, but I still had clients and assignments that 100% depended on me. So that is why there were no days off. There were no vacations. Growth was way slower than it could have been. And honestly, if I'm being transparent, I wasn't happy because I was completely chained to my business and to these clients. And that's not to say they were bad clients, but it wasn't giving me the freedom and the flexibility and the control that I wanted because they built it wrong. I at a very, like a foundational, at its core, at the base of it all, I did it wrong. Lesson learned. I've gotten better since, but if we can avoid that happening for you, I think that would be good. So those are the 4 big things. I want to recap them because I know some people hopped in late. I'm looking at my notes right now. That's why I'm looking away. The first thing is define the services that you're going to offer. Pick a core set of services and stick to them. Do not, especially in the beginning, try to be a full service social media marketing agency. It's too much. You cannot do everything. So pick a small group of services that you know you can deliver and start with those. So for instance, organic posting or paid ads, or pick 1 or 2 platforms to focus on, like Facebook and Instagram or LinkedIn and YouTube. Okay, that's the first tip. Second tip, pick a niche. You will not limit yourself. I promise you. I just want to scream this at the top of my lungs. Picking a niche will not limit you. You will position yourself as an expert, as an authority. You will become the go-to person for that thing. And you'll become known for it. And you can charge more for it. Money. You can make more money when you're a specialist as opposed to being a generalist. I promise you. All right. Tip 3, start every day with outreach. Start every day with lead generation and client acquisition. Put growth first, and then shift your workday to maintaining current clients. Never miss a deadline, deliver what you owe to them, but start with outreach. And then tip number 4 was when you notice your time becoming limited, strained, start interviewing, start hiring. One of the best pieces of advice I ever got, hire fast, fire faster. Don't get hung up on trying to find the perfect person. It's really hard to do. So instead, when you find someone and interview them and check out their work, and you're looking at them and you're thinking, okay, yeah, I think that might work out, hire them, go. And give them enough time to get settled and to give them a chance. But when you start seeing red flags, if you address these red flags with them and give them a chance to fix them and give them feedback and they don't, cut them loose. Hire fast, fire faster. Something else I messed up really bad. I hung on to one person in particular way longer than I should have. Way after her work had started declining, she started missing deadlines, she started missing meetings, wouldn't respond to emails, excuse after excuse after excuse. But I'm a softie, something I've had to work on, and I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt because when she did the work, it was good work. And I shouldn't have. I should have canned her a long time ago, and that came back to bite me. Okay, so, again, I put a link in the chat to Outsourcely. That is one of many sites you can go on to hire someone to help you. First, learn the task yourself before you outsource it, because remember, you're going to have to train that person on it. Okay, so don't hire right away, but don't wait until you have no other options. Got to do it in the middle. Okay, there's a little more help I can offer you. First, I kind of just want to bring this all together. If you're trying to build, or you are building an SMMA, and you're frustrated, and you're like, why am I not making more money? You're not alone. It's not you. It's the industry. There is a huge demand for social media because so many companies, most companies need it. And like mentioned earlier, I don't know how many years ago it was at this point, but SMMAs kind of blew up. Everybody and their brother had one because it's so easy to say, I'm a social media expert. I have an agency. Everyone's got an agency. My grandma has an agency. It's just everyone's doing that now because the barrier to entry is so low. That means that there are a lot of unqualified people out there and you have a lot of competition. And it's unfortunate because for the people who are really dedicated to this work and they're really good at it, they're competing against people who have no clue what they're doing. And the clients don't know the difference. They don't know if it's, if they've narrowed it down to you and one other agency owner, they don't know that you know what's up and the other person's full of it. So it's hard. It's kind of fighting an uphill battle if you don't have the right strategy. So if you're just kind of sitting there waiting for your business to blow up and you're not actively taking these very specific steps, stuff that we've covered now in this video, it's just not going to happen. It's very doable. You're still going to get rejected. You're still going to get ignored. It happens to me. But if you follow these 4 tips I've given you, it's going to be a lot easier. The goal here with much of what we've talked about is to sidestep your competition. We need to get you away from your competition. That's why I tell a lot of people, don't look for jobs on Upwork, Fiverr. Don't do it, because you are going to be competing against hundreds, if not thousands, of other people who all look just like you. So why would you put yourself in that position where it's a very, very saturated, they call it the red ocean. There's too many people fighting for these jobs on job boards and bidding sites. So don't go anywhere near them. I don't. I stopped using those sites a long time ago. So that kind of brings me to the freebie I want to bring to your attention. Actually, if you give me one moment, I think I told you I had technical problems and the live stream I was supposed to use, the link I was supposed to use, was not working for me. So I had to start a whole new live stream. Here is a free guide that I have on my website. And this will introduce you to how I go about landing clients. It'll kind of give you, like a brief rundown of it. So the way this works, we do not use job boards and bidding sites. Instead, your relationships with your leads, with your potential clients, start on LinkedIn. If you're not on LinkedIn, get on LinkedIn. And in the free guide that I linked to in the chat, I will tell you exactly how to create your profile, how to set it up so that you show up more in people's feeds. You have to remember LinkedIn is a search engine. So it works kind of like Google. When people are looking for a certain type of professional, they go on LinkedIn and they search social media manager or social media agency or graphic designer or writer, whatever. They search for that in LinkedIn because it's a search engine, and then LinkedIn delivers to them search results. This means that similar to how you would prepare a web page for Google, you want to optimize your LinkedIn page with keywords. And that's going to help you become more visible on LinkedIn. When I made this change, and I still I'm always reviewing my LinkedIn page to see if there's a way I can improve it with keywords. I actually had leads starting to come to me. They were finding me on LinkedIn and they were reaching out to me. In fact, I still have a couple clients to this day that they found me on LinkedIn. So I know, some people hate LinkedIn, and I know it looks like it doesn't have all the bells and whistles of something like Facebook, but LinkedIn is really powerful. It's part of my program that I teach, Revenue Spark. Relationships start on LinkedIn. Once you connect with people there, you get their email address and you take the conversation to email. There's also a free email template in that guide. Okay. So what I teach, I've always referred to it as cold emailing, which now looking back, I shouldn't have, because it's technically not cold emailing. It's warm emailing. That's why it works so much better than traditional cold emailing. The relationship starts on LinkedIn. So by the time I send the email, we've already connected. They already know who I am. And one of the hardest parts of succeeding with cold emailing, which can work, I used to do traditional cold emailing. That's where it all started. So it can work, but it's tricky because you don't have a relationship. That's why it's cold. They're cold leads. You have no relationship with them. So it's hard because people are getting an email from a stranger. But LinkedIn, the beauty of it is that it's this perfect combination of business, but personal, because it's still kind of a social media site in a way. And it's a great place to connect with people on a much more organic and personal level. You're connecting with a human being, not a business. So you start there and then take the conversation to email where you talk business, talk about your services and all that. But LinkedIn has been a game changer. And it's funny, for a lot of my students, some of them, they come to me having already tried cold emailing and they're like, it doesn't work. I've sent hundreds of cold emails and I haven't closed a client. You add in this step of LinkedIn and everything changes. So again, that's not to knock traditional cold emailing. Like I said, I did it and it worked. It delivered results. But the problem with traditional cold emailing is that it's much more a numbers game. And why send 200 emails to close a client when you could send 10? That's my conversion rate. For every 10 warm emails I send, I close a client. And so it's because you're nurturing the lead a little more. You take a little more time, for every relationship, but it works. It pays off. And I use this approach, and I've got clients who've been with me for years. They've added thousands and thousands of dollars to my revenue, my income every year. So do I care that I spend a little more time on each lead? And I'm talking about minutes. No, because you get a huge return. And also, it makes for better relationships. So that's the first thing. I dropped that link in the chat box. Second, I've mentioned now a few times that I have a program called Revenue Spark, and that is where I teach people my method for landing clients. And it's a self-paced program, but it walks you through the entire process from start to finish. So starting with sourcing the lead, all the way to delivering your proposal, your scope of work to the lead. It's the entire thing up until the point when you land them and close the deal. I built this program because I saw a huge need for it. There are a ton of really skilled, amazing professionals out there, but where a lot of them end up stumbling is they start their business and they don't realize how hard it's going to be to land clients. You could be the best social media person in the world, but if you don't know how to land clients, you're not going to make money. Your business will fail. So that's why there are really two parts to being a successful professional: being really good at the service you offer, social media, and knowing how to bring people in, which is client acquisition, sales. So that's what I teach. Again, I've used this process to scale my own agency to 5 figures a month. And it took me a long time to get here because no one really taught me how to do it. It was a lot of trial and error. But it's cool because at this point now, I've tested it and repeated it over and over and over again. And now my students are doing the same thing, and they're proving, they're getting the same results. I have students get clients before the program even ends. So it's cool because we've taken out a lot of that trial and error and a lot of the guesswork. So I hand you the process and you do it. And if you do it, it works. It's really simple. There's no magic involved. There's no secrets. It's just having the right formula. I always call it a formula, and that's because it is. Like, it's the exact steps you have to follow. And if you do it, it works. And I know it's confusing. You might feel like you're in a place where you have all of the pieces, but you just don't know how to put them together. I recently found myself in the same position, different context, but I was trying to build something. And I was like, I know there's so many moving parts, and I know I've got them, but I don't know how to put them together. So I enrolled in a program. I thought, I need someone to teach me how to do this. So I did, and it worked. It's just having the right formula, the right step, and proven. It's been time tested. It's really just joining along and following someone who's already made it work. Like, why try to figure it out on your own if you don't have to? So on that note, I am dropping one more link in the chat. This is the link to my calendar on Calendly. If you think you might be interested in enrolling in my program, yes, it is an investment. Schedule a call with me and we'll talk more. The call is to see if we're a good fit for each other. Enrollment isn't open to the public, and it's for a reason. There will be people who aren't a good fit for one reason or another. For example, I had one person come to me and they wanted to learn how to automate the whole process. And I don't teach it like that. I don't automate the whole process from start to finish. So I told him that. I was like, it's not the right fit for you. Or if you happen to be in a line of work that for some reason doesn't make sense. If you have an SMMA, I can tell you right now this will make sense, but we should still get on a call anyway. I want to know what you've tried already, what the results were, where you are stumbling or where you think you're stumbling, and we'll take it from there. So again, you can just use that calendar link, schedule a time with me. There should be a space where you can add a note or a description. Make sure you mention that you were on this live stream, so I know where you found me, and mention you have an SMMA. So that is about it for now. I hope you learned something new. I'm going to hang out for another couple minutes, though. I see we've still got a few people here. Questions? Do you have any questions about the program, about building your agency? Obviously, I can't get too deep into most things, but if it's like a quick question, I'll answer it. Questions about hiring, about picking a niche, picking services, anything you got. I will hang out for a few minutes, and I'm just going to sit here and be awkward and let you guys ask away. Go ahead. Or just say hello in the chat. Tell me where you're from. Is it possible to get clients through email? Maybe did you join the stream from the beginning? Or did you jump in late? Because yes, it is. That's kind of what we were discussing. I use a combination of LinkedIn and email. So yes, late. Okay, that makes sense. Odd Drummer Gaming, hello. Yeah, so just in case you didn't catch it, I'll recap real quick. And I think this stream should stay up on YouTube if you want to watch it again. But anyhow, if we're talking about traditional cold emailing, which is when you email someone you have no relationship with to sell your services, can that work? Yes. Is it a numbers game? Definitely. The method that I teach is a combination of LinkedIn and warm emailing, not cold. So you start the relationship on LinkedIn, you reach out to your leads there first, and then take the conversation to email. So by the time you're emailing, they already know who you are. And by adding in that step, like starting on LinkedIn, your open rate, your conversion rates, they're going to shoot up. You're going to schedule more sales calls because you're starting to nurture the lead on a different platform. Cold emailing, I know I'm saying this for the third time, but it's worth reiterating. It can work. I did it. That's where it all started. But I just found a better way to do it, which is LinkedIn email. Great question. What else you guys got? Don't forget, even if you're not ready to commit to a program yet, grab that free guide. It's the previous link I dropped in the chat. Completely free. Just want to point that out. Take it. What else? I hope you're all safe, by the way. How many clients did you get through emailing? I don't know. I mean, I've been doing it now for a few years. I don't look so much at the number of clients as I do what my revenue is looking like, and my revenue's in 5 figures a month. So what I can say is that I would never, again, made this mistake before, I would never rely on 1 or 2 or 3 big clients, because if you lose one, you could be in a really bad place. Like if you have 1 client and you lose them, you're screwed. If you have 2 clients, 2 big clients, and you lose one, you might be screwed. So one of the benefits of having an agency is that you get to work with multiple clients, and that brings a lot of security. If you're an employee and you lose your paycheck, you're out of a paycheck. If you have an agency and you lose a client, you're fine. That's one of the perks of having an agency, so take advantage of it. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Do you use LinkedIn to promote your YouTube videos? Yes, always, every week, every day. They're on LinkedIn. Also, hold on, I'll give you my LinkedIn, my URL. If we're not already connected, send me a connection request and add a note telling me you were on this stream, so I know it's you. It was one of you guys. Give me 1 second. Here's my LinkedIn. Yeah, reach out, say hello. I'm really active on LinkedIn. Obviously, I was telling you how it's helped my business a ton. So I'm on there a lot. But yeah, LinkedIn is it's such a good in-between place for professionals, because it's a professional network. It's for businesses, for work, but it's still got a little bit of that social media side where it's more casual and friendly. That's why it's so great to start the relationship there with your leads. If you just send off the cold email, they're going to see it. They're going to be like, oh, this random person's trying to sell me something. And if they open it, they probably won't read it. They'll trash it. But when you start the relationship on LinkedIn, you form a bond from the get-go, and it changes the course of the whole relationship. So that is why we use LinkedIn. My diary says hi, hello. Also, while you're here, I'm open to feedback. Did you find this helpful? Future topics you'd like me to cover? I enjoyed this. I thought it was really good. It would have been better if I didn't have technical problems right off the bat, but I'll work on that. But yeah, there will be more. So if you have topics you would like covered in the future, or if I already have a video on it, I'll send you the video. But check out my main YouTube page, because I have a lot of content on there. Most of what I do focuses on landing clients, and I even have some videos specific to SMMAs, but a lot of it will apply to you regardless. Megan, have been following you lately, and I love the work you are putting out. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. That makes me happy. I try to help and provide value, and I have made so many mistakes. Repeatedly, I've made so many of the same mistakes because I'm stubborn. But yeah, if I can make the journey a little easier for even one person, that would be cool. There's seriously, like, there is no limit to how much money you can make. And I know that sounds like, I don't mean for it to sound greedy. When I'm talking about money, I'm talking about freedom. Money's freedom. Money's choice. It's control. I knew I wanted to make a lot of money because I didn't want to work as much. I'm tired. I was sick of working like a dog. I wanted freedom. That's what money is to me. And I think, there are people who could relate. Of course, if you want a lot of money to have nice things, nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with money. Don't let anyone tell you that there's something wrong with wanting to make more money. There's nothing wrong with that. You should be paid for what you do. So that's what this is about. And I need you to know there is no limit to how much money you can make when you have an online business, because you're not restricted by geography. You're not restricted by time. I have clients all over the world. My students are all over the world. I have students in Nigeria, in the UK, California. I have one right here in Vegas. I'm in Vegas. If you have an online business, you can do anything. So get rid of any limitations you've imposed on yourself. Clear your mind, get rid of them. Because if you want to make $5,000 a month, 10 grand, 20 grand, you can. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. How's the foster dog doing? That's so nice. Thank you for asking. He's good. He got neutered 2 days ago, and he got his little dew claws, those thumbs, snipped. And poor little guy was not happy. And he still has the cone on, so he's still not happy. But I think he was doing okay. Thank you for asking. Is there a script that you use continuously in order to get clients through email? Yes. I have 5 main email templates that I rely on. And when I say templates, I mean I tweak them for every lead. I personalize every email. It takes me less than a minute. Just before anyone rolls their eyes like, I don't have time for that. You do. And it's worth it because it helps. If you download that free guide I linked to earlier in the chat, I'll even put it in there again, that has a template in it. Take that, copy it, plug in your own details, and you can use that to land clients. Give me 1 second. I'm just grabbing the link for you again. Here is the free guide. There you go. But yeah, so I have, like I said, 5 templates that I rotate through. And I'm repeating myself. I personalize them. So I personalize them with 3 things: the recipient's first name, the business name, and then a sentence or 2 about their business. So for example, if you're pitching your social media services, you might add in a comment like, oh, I saw you recently posted about X, Y, and Z. I really liked that. Just something to indicate that you've looked into them and they're not just a number to you. Pay attention to every single lead. Okay, and like I said, this takes less than a minute. So you're spending an extra 60 seconds at most on a lead, but for a reason. It pays off. I'm telling you. I've compared both approaches, like mass emailing the same template to everyone and personalizing them one by one. It makes a huge difference. So you can take that template in the free guide that I just linked to, copy and paste it into your Gmail if you're using Gmail, save it. You can save templates in Gmail, save yourself some time. And anytime you want to email a lead, you have the template in there, plug in the details, send. Thanks a lot, needed that, new subscriber. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I rely on that support, so thank you. Hi, oh gosh, Navia? I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but hello. Okay, I will stick around. It's 10:27 here, so I'll stick around for another 2 or 3 minutes. I'm just gonna hang out here. And I wanna make sure if you have any last minute questions, get them in the chat. I'll answer them. Let's see, I just wanna make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, I don't think I did, but like I said, I'm here for another couple minutes. If you have any questions about what we covered, questions about the program, don't forget that I put my Calendly link higher in the chat. Oh, here, I'll put it again. If you are interested in joining the program where I teach people how to land clients, then you need to schedule a call with me. We'll probably just do it over Zoom and see if you're a good fit, if we're a good fit for each other. What is SMMA? Social Media Marketing Agency is SMMA. Some people just call it a social media agency. Some people kind of They kind of interchange the terms digital marketing agency. Some people think it's something different. Some consider it the same, but a lot of people just call it SMMA for short. What else? I'll hang out for another minute. And again, if you haven't yet, check out my main channel page with all the videos. And I've got a lot of, like, almost everything there is about landing clients. And then there are a few that I made specifically for SMMAs. So go check those out. Lots of valuable stuff in there. In your case, sending about 1,000 emails got you how many positive responses? Well, I mean, I can tell you, out of 1,000, I've never lumped a batch of emails as 1,000 and done them all the same. So I can't. It's really hard to accurately answer. What I can tell you is that, I think, in case you missed it earlier, for approximately every 10 warm emails I send, not cold, warm emails, I land a client. So that means by that point, I've connected with them on LinkedIn, send the warm email. For every 10, I will close a client, like, consistently. So, I mean, if you want to kind of extrapolate that and, for 1,000, you can, but I feel like I'd be kind of making that number up because the way that I figured out my formula for landing clients, it was just a lot of trial and error and testing. And when I'm testing something, I'll test it on like 50 emails because you need a pool, like a large enough pool to really make any assumptions and find patterns. You can't send 2 emails and then think you have it figured out. That's why I'll send like about 50 and I look for patterns in what I'm testing. So I do things in batches. That's why it's kind of hard to answer for 1,000. Megan, hope I'm not going off point. I'm setting up a chatbot agency where I offer white label services. Are you open to that? I'm looking for collaboration. Not sure there would be a ton of overlap there, but if you have LinkedIn, I dropped my link in the chat. Find me on LinkedIn and send me a message. Let me know it's you, and we can talk about it. I can't make any promises because off the top of my head, I don't know that I'd really be able to help. But yeah, just reach out to me on LinkedIn. What niche do you target? So I have a few at this point. I started with one. I started with fitness. That was because I had a ton of personal experience with it and I loved it. Fitness, like kind of as a byproduct, led into nutrition because a lot of the brands that I was working with covered both in some capacity. But because I was a competitive athlete, nutrition was also something I was well versed in, so that was okay. So for a few years, it was fitness and nutrition. And then I added on digital marketing. And that was because as a result of building up my own agency, I learned a lot about things like SEO, social media, Facebook targeting, email marketing. So people will hire me to write about those things. Start with one. And the way you pick a niche, again, I've got videos on this. The way you pick a niche, look for something you like and something that you know a lot about or are willing to learn a lot about. That's how you find a niche. Do you offer coaching on getting clients and with what works? I sure do. I do. That is what I was talking about with my program, Revenue Spark. That is where I teach you my exact process. I show you, I know I mentioned this earlier, so I know this is a repeat for some of you, I'm sorry. But I teach you the whole process from start to finish. So up until the point you send the proposal, which I show you how to do, and I take you through that whole process pretty much up until the point you close the deal with the client. Yeah, no worries at all. I know people are coming and going, so don't worry one bit. If you want to know more about the program and you think you might be interested in enrolling, I'm dropping my calendar link in the chat. and you schedule a meeting with me on the calendar. You should have a spot where you can add like a note or a description. Just put that you were on my live stream, so I know that this was how you found me. And yeah, if you're interested, we talk more. We see if we're a good fit. And if I'm, I have to be confident that I can help you. I would never enroll someone if I wasn't confident that I could get them results. But that's the next step for anyone who's interested in possibly enrolling. Schedule a call. That's the only commitment, is the call, and we'll talk more. How much does it cost? That's something I share on the call. I'm really committed to only enrolling people who are a good fit. So the enrollment link is not public. The price is not public. I know a lot of people hear that and they immediately go, oh, that means it's really expensive. It's an investment, but I'm not going to sit here and say it's expensive. That means something different for everyone. What I can tell you is that the goal is to land you your next client before you finish the program. So the goal is to get you to make your money back before you finish the program. And that's where your money goes. It's an investment. You learn how to land clients from me, and it will set you up for your whole career. So when you think about it like that, if you're in a place where you're kind of struggling financially, where a lot of people are right now purely because of COVID, I think the question to ask yourself is, how long can you stay where you are? For some people, they're kind of up against the wall. Something needs to change now. They need money now. So that's what's cool about the program. I built it to get you results as fast as possible. So when I built it, I went through it, and I went through every single lesson, and I said, is this necessary to their success? Do they have to know this? And if the answer was no, I took it out, because the goal is to get you results as fast as possible. And people have landed clients in a few weeks. And really, it just depends on how quickly you get through it. Like, there are people who take longer because it's a self-paced program. So if they're going slower, then it's going to take them longer. That's another good point to bring up. So it's a self-paced program. When you enroll, you get lifetime access. So it never goes away. And any updates I make to the program, you'll always have. It's right in the portal. There's a private Facebook group for students only, which has proven to be so valuable, like getting to learn from other people and share your own insight and advice. And then you get to work directly with me. So the program is self-paced, but we still work together one-on-one. There are weekly group office hours, but I make myself available to you by email and Zoom, so that if you do need additional help, we work together. And that's why I'm, very confident in delivering results, because I only enroll people who I know it can work for. And if you do the work, it works. It's that simple. There's no magic here. It's, if you do it, it works, period. Do you do all the marketing work by yourself, or do you have a media buyer? Are you talking about from my agency? Like once you sign on a client? Okay, no, I have a very small team. So they handle a good bulk of it, but there are still some things I do. I do have a few clients who specifically requested that they communicate with me. And then there's stuff that honestly I just really enjoy doing. My background is in writing, so I love writing. And there's some stuff that I don't assign out because I'm like, I want to do this. But no, at this point, this was something, I think you probably missed it because I talked about it earlier on. Time became a limiting factor, and I knew that if I wanted to continue growing, I had to hire. That was it. So I hired. And then my business has continued to grow. I was able to take on more clients, make more money. So yeah, it's not just me anymore, which was long overdue. I waited way too long to hire, but live and learn. Okay. Ooh, All right, so it's about 10:40 now. These are all great questions. I'm still here for you. I'm always here. I am going to end the stream. Can you do me a favor, if you found this helpful, over an hour here, if you found this helpful and you found it valuable, can you please just give me a yes in the chat? Let me know that you like this, because I want to make sure I'm giving you guys what you need and I'm helping you and yeah, providing value. So yes, thank you. Okay. Yeah, just looking for feedback. If you guys enjoyed this, I'll do it again. I thought this was great. This is everything I shared today. It was stuff I wish I knew, earlier on. So that's why I picked these things to talk about. I jumped in late, sorry, but those last few minutes of Q&A was helpful. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, so glad to hear that. And again, I am sorry because I scheduled this live stream and I scheduled it a few days ago and I was promoting the heck out of it and dropping a link all over my social media. And then I go in at 9:30 to start the live stream and YouTube was like, I'm sorry, that doesn't work. And so I'm sitting here and I literally started sweating. I got like the Insta sweats because I put this link everywhere and I was like, meet me on YouTube. And then the link didn't work. So I started panicking and I had to start a whole new live stream. So for all I know, there are still people waiting on the original one. So I'll work on that. I'm sorry. Something always has to go wrong. And I am not a techie person. So of course I had to screw something up. I'll try harder next time. Thank you, Laura. Laura, this is the first time I'm seeing your name in the chat. Hopefully you got to hang out for a little while and you were just watching quietly. But yeah, don't forget, just in case anyone jumped in late, don't forget about the links I dropped in the chat for you guys. There's my LinkedIn if you would like to connect. There's my calendar if you want to schedule a call to talk about possibly enrolling in the program. And then there's a link to my free guide, which will show you how to set up and optimize your LinkedIn page. And then one of my templates is in there that you can copy paste. Okay, so those 3 links, I put them in the chat a few times, but especially if you jumped in late, scroll up or down or whatever and grab those. Cool. Okay. Yay, this was fun. And also, I've done a lot of, maybe this is something you guys can give me your 2 cents on. I've done a lot of Zoom webinars, and they're always like such a pain. Something always goes wrong. And then I do this on YouTube live, and I've had really good traffic, people jumping in and out. And aside from the technical problem I had in the beginning, this just seemed to be a lot more seamless. So I think I might stick to YouTube for now. Plus, it's easy to kind of direct you guys. Most of my free content is YouTube videos, so maybe it makes sense to have it on here. I don't know. If you guys have any thoughts on that, let me know. But yeah, again, reach out to me on LinkedIn. Let me know you were here, and let's connect and stay in touch. I will be doing this again. Hopefully, I'll get it to work properly the next time. And yeah, all right. So I'm gonna end the stream now, and thank you again, and thanks for being active in the chat, everybody. I appreciate every single one of you. And we'll talk soon, and I'll be back on here again, probably next week. All right. Take care, everyone. See you later. Can I even turn this thing off?